Today's walk is a circular walk visiting Catrigg Force and Stainforth Force from this car park in Stainforth, a village in the Yorkshire Dales. The walk is 7.4 kilometres or 6.6 miles long and takes approximately 2¼ hours. There are a couple of signs on the toilet block in the car park in Stainforth, one showing the car park charges and the other giving some information on Stainforth itself. Let's have a look now at where we're walking today. We initially crossed the stepping stones in Stainforth to then head up Goatscar Lane to reveal views of Pen-y-ghent and Ingleborough from the top. A short detour takes us to Catrigg Force, a waterfall set within a wooded gorge. After a walk through fields and lanes, we cross the river Ribble via Weir and then head on upstream along its banks to eventually reach Stainforth Force. This is another stunning waterfall, well known for its salmon jumping at certain times of the year. Getting back in the car park, head away from the toilets, pass through the entrance and turn right along the road. As the road bends around to the right here, turn left following the Halton Gill and Arncliffe sign. Shortly on the right hand side you will reach a grass space. Here, take the path down the right hand side of the grass by the wall. Where stepping stones across Stainforth Beck are revealed. Head across the stepping stones. If the stepping stones are icy or very wet, or you just don't fancy crossing them, you can avoid them. Where we just turned left along the road, if you just turn right and then first left, you end up back at this same point. Head straight on now, up the hill, which is Goatscar Lane. Tarmac to start with, and then quickly becomes cobbled and a little more rougher underfoot. Looking behind, you can see Smearset Scar on the horizon in the direction of the lane. Keep climbing up this wall track, stopping from time to time to admire the ever expanding vista behind. Cross over to the left, you can see Fountains Fell appearing along with Pen-y-ghent. Along the lane to Smearset Scar on the horizon. You stop again a little further up. Pen-y-ghent is becoming a little more obvious now. This is one of the Yorkshire Three Peaks. Further around to the left, Ingleborough, another one of the Yorkshire Three Peaks, comes into view. At the end of the lane we reach a wooden gate that we'll pass through once we've visited Catrigg Force. Before following the signpost that indicates the way down to Catrigg Force, take time to look around again. See Fountains Fell, Pen-y-ghent's a bit clearer now. And then around to Ingleborough, there's the sort of flat top in the distance. And then Somerset Scar is a little bit hidden by the tree. Pass through the gates and head down the side of the wall. For a short distance the path splits. We will take the left hand path shortly to have a look down at the bottom of the force, but for now just head straight on so we can look at the top. Take great care around the top of the force because it's unfenced and it is a sheer steep drop. Turn around now and head back along the path, this time taking the right hand fork and pass through the gate. Head along this path. Turn right down some steps towards the waterfall. This hidden waterfall, set in its own wooded amphitheatre, almost feels enchanted, like it should belong in a Brothers Grimm fairy tale. Catrigg Force was also said to be a favourite place to visit of the composer Edward Elgar, he of Land of Hope and Glory fame, which is played each year at the last night of the proms, amongst other performances. After admiring the falls and taking all your photos, turn around now to head back up the steps and then turn left to head back along to the gates. Pass back through the gate and head up by the side of the wall. Back through the gate and then immediately left through the larger wooden gate to start heading up the track. Pass through the next gate. Then after a few yards, turn right off the gravel track to head across the field. This is the highest point of today's walk at about 330 metres high and affords fantastic views all around, from Somerset Scar and to the flat topped Ingleborough. And round to Pen-y-ghent, and to the right of that, Fountains Fell. Keep on now along this track. You then reach a signpost at Upper Windskill. Here we follow the footpath to Langcliffe and Stainforth sign that heads across initially over the cattle grid and then down the walled lane. The wall bends around to the right, and then after a few more yards there's a footpath sign for Langcliffe and a wall stile on your left. Head over the stile and head directly away from the wall across the field. Pass through this next gate and turn right to head down the side of the wall. Just before we leave the wall and head down, ahead now you can see Langcliffe and the fields and tracks to be walked across for about the next kilometre before we reach the River Ribble. Head down the grassy path. Through the gate in the wall. Head away from the gate. The walled track that we are shortly about to follow can be clearly seen in the distance now, straight ahead. Before that though, follow the path down and around to the left. Pass through the gap in the wall. And continue along the path which keeps by the side of the wall. Looking back now, you can see around to Stainforth Scar. If you enjoy these videos, please click the like button, subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you know when any new walks have been uploaded. It's free to subscribe and your likes and comments really do help our channel. Head down 2 and pass through this next wooden gate to head along the walled track. Take time to look back and look around. If you have any thoughts about this walk that you'd like to share with us, or find out any issues with any footpaths you used, please share that with us in the comments below. After a while, as you approach a small building, there is a footpath sign on the left and a gate on the right. Pass through this gate. to head down the path between the fence and the wall. Looking around, you can see back to Stainforth Scar. Just admire the wonderful dale scenery. On our website, the route of today's Catrigg and Stainforth Waterfalls walk is set out on an Ordnance survey map along with a GPS download for your phone or GPS device. The link for this walk on our walksforall.com website is down in the description below. Upon reaching the gate, pass through it and turn left along the lane. Then on meeting the main road, turn right, head along the pavement and over the bridge. Over the bridge is part of the settled Carlisle railway line. Head back to the pavement and, taking great care, cross the road and head down Locksbourne Lane. As the lane starts to flatten, you get your first view of the Weir over to the right hand side. A few yards further on, head down a little path and then turn right to head over the footbridge to cross the River Ribble. The Weir itself was originally built to supply water to a mill just a bit further downstream. Stainforth Scar can be seen over the Weir. Once over the footbridge, follow the path around to the right, and a few yards further take the path off to the right again, which keeps by the side of the river. Keep walking along the path to pass through the wooden gate, following the footpath sign, Stainforth Force, 1.5 miles. This riverside path forms part of the Ribble Way, which is a route from Longton at the mouth of the River Ribble to the west of Preston that runs for approximately 70 miles to the river's source at Gavel Gap, which is a few kilometres northeast of the Ribble Viaduct in the Yorkshire Dales. Pass through the next gate and on over a small stone stile. Pass over the next stile If you are new to hiking or just want ideas for walking gear to wear on the walk or what to take on the walk, check out our recommendations in the description below. Over to the right, you can see across and through to Stainforth Scar. Pass over the next stone stile in the wall, which wasn't the easiest one to pass over with one hand and a camera. And make your way across the stones, across the water. Pass over the next stone stile. And now across the field. The actual footpath is just slightly to the left here. I'm just keeping by the fence just to have a look at the Stainforth Woodland sign. From the sign, keep straight on and then take the right hand path that keeps closer by the river. Just a little farther on you reach Stainforth Force. It can get quite busy here on sunny weekends in the summer. But this being mid-October, these people are probably here just for one thing, to watch the salmon jumping upstream, climbing the waterfalls. According to the Wildlife Trust, early morning and evenings during October and November are the best, and a period of rain after a dry spell will provide the perfect conditions for the salmon to leap. Earlier this morning, whilst waiting for the low mist to disappear, I popped down to Stainforth Force whilst it was a bit quieter. The falls are very impressive after heavy rain, and the Packhorse bridge in the background makes for an excellent photograph. I did sit around for 5 or 10 minutes just to see if I could see any salmon, and these two were the only two that I managed to see in the time I was there. Both failed to get up the initial step. Carry on now, heading slightly uphill away from the falls. Stainforth Packhorse Bridge was built in 1675 and was on the main Packhorse Road from Lancaster to York. It's now owned by the National Trust. For a short diversion here, there is actually a cafe and tea room up to the left through the gate at Night Stainforth Hall Caravan and Camping Park. After having one last look at the bridge, we're going to pass through the gate and turn right along the road. Once over the bridge, continue along the road and head up the hill. Upon meeting the main road, turn right along the pavement, then cross over the road when safe to do, heading back into Stainforth with St Peter's Church visible behind the sign. Keep on now along the pavement to turn left back across into the car park. If you want something to eat and drink after the walk, then head out to the car park again to restart the walk. But this time, instead of turning left, follow the road around to the right, just over the bridge, you'll find the Craven Heifer. It serves food and drink and has a covered beer garden out the back, and there's a few real fires inside. If you find the pub closed as it is today, there are many pubs and cafes back in nearby Settle, and the Helwyth Bridge Inn, that usually adds up to 8 real ales on the bar, is just over a mile further up the road at Helwyth Bridge. That also serves food and drink. Just before ending today's walk, we've put together a short fly-through created using the Ordnance Survey app, the link for which is in the description below, to show you where you've been and to give the area more perspective. From the car park, we headed over the stepping stones and then up the walled lane, before turning left to drop down to visit Catrigg Force. We then returned to the gate and headed across the field to Upper Winskill. We continued down a lane, turning left across a field, before then dropping down to join another walled track. We turn right off this lane and then down and over the Settle Carlisle railway line before dropping down to the River Ribble. After crossing the Ribble by the Weir, we turned right and headed upstream along the riverside path. We eventually reached Stainforth Force Waterfall and then crossed back over the Ribble using the old Packhorse bridge before climbing up the road, turning right and heading back into Stainforth. That ends our walk for today.